Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Dana. I was born and raised in Kentucky in the United States, but now I'm living in Japan. I make podcast-style videos to help you learn English through American culture and everyday life. There are subtitles on this video, so please turn them on if you'd like to watch or just relax and listen to this video like the radio. Today's topic is things in Japan that surprise Americans. I will talk about people's behavior, how people act in public spaces like the train, shops, on the street, etc. First, let's talk about the staff at stores like a clothing store. When you enter a shop in Japan, the staff greet you, right? They say, いらっしゃいませ. The greeting is quite powerful and can be a bit loud. This surprises Americans because American people are more relaxed and quiet when greeting customers. They may just say, hi, welcome, or hello in a low tone. Also, I was surprised that Japanese staff at clothing stores talk a lot. They continue talking while the customer is looking around. They say, ご覧くださいませ over and over. But workers at clothing stores in the US don't talk unless there is a reason. They will greet the customer first, but usually wait until a customer asks them a question before speaking. So, when Americans go to restaurants or shops in Japan, they may be surprised by this behavior. Next, let's talk about public transportation in Japan. Trains are very clean and reliable. That means they come on time. Compare this to Kentucky. Actually, there is no train in Kentucky where I'm from. So, of course, this was a big surprise to me. Even the buses are different. Buses in Japan drive very smoothly and are very comfortable. But I have only taken the bus a couple of times in Kentucky. The bus stop locations are not convenient, and sometimes the bus is not in good condition. So people prefer to drive their cars. Also, public transportation in Japan is really quiet. People are really quiet. In Japan, there is a rule that you should not talk loudly on the train. And most people follow this rule. But in the US, people can be noisy. They make noise. For example, they yell across the room to talk to each other, talk on the phone, or play music out loud. Some Americans don't like this, but they put up with it. They accept it because it happens so often. This point is related to how people think about silence. Silence means not talking to each other. It means no noise. When Americans are in a space with other people, they try to avoid silence. For example, when they are in an elevator, with someone or sitting next to someone on the bus. In the US, some people think that silence is something that is negative. They might think it's more polite to talk to the other person. Or maybe they are just friendly. Anyway, in many cases, Americans try to avoid silence with small talk. But in Japan, it is normal for a room to be totally silent. No one feels pressured to start a conversation. I was surprised by this when I took an elevator in Japan. People tend to look at their phones or look at the ground. They don't make eye contact with the other person, and that is normal in Japan. But in the US, we often make small talk on the elevator. So this cultural difference was interesting to me. Next, Americans are surprised that tipping is not allowed in Japan, even though the customer service is extremely good. When I first came to Japan, I tried to give the staff a tip at a restaurant, but they refused my tip. They said, no, it's okay. I was very surprised by this. In the US, extremely good service is not done for free. The workers provide good service because they expect a tip. So, not tipping in Japan can feel strange for Americans. It makes us feel bad, like we're using someone. We feel like we should tip for good service. But once Americans get used to not tipping, many of them like this culture. They prefer not to tip because it's easier. Finally, I want to talk about how people follow rules in Japan. I have noticed that Japanese people usually follow rules even when no one is watching. But in some cases, Americans do not care about rules when no one is watching. For example, think about crossing the street at a red light. From my experience, many Japanese people wait for the light to turn green, even if there are no cars or not many people. But Americans may cross the street without waiting. To be honest, I have even seen someone drive past a red light at night because no one was around. Of course, this doesn't mean all Americans do this, but it is something I experienced. To sum up, these are just a few parts of Japanese culture that surprise Americans. But I would say they are pleasant surprises. I mean, we are surprised in a good way. Japan is a safe and clean country, so it is comfortable for Americans to travel here. That is all for today's video. If we understand each other's culture, we can communicate better. So please keep this information in mind when interacting with travelers from the US. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Goodbye!